test, 1, 2. It's there. Test, 1, 2. There we go. That's better. Test, 1, 2. You guys can hear me, right? Without me talking real loud, can you hear? No, I guess not, huh? Okay, there we go. I know, I'm just trying to get volume. Not like Sundays where we just check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Valerie Blair. I'm the music director here at Second First Church, and I'd like to welcome you to this, what's going to be a really big treat of handbell music with bells and whistles and lots of things I don't even recognize that they're doing. So thank you very much for coming. We are going to start with a word of prayer with Pastor Martha, and thank you all for coming. It's going to be great.
Friends, let us pray. Gracious and holy God, we give you thanks for this evening, for the talent of these ringers, for the joy that they are spreading all across this part of our country. And we ask that you would be with them this evening as they give this concert and as they continue to make their way through their next dates and home. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is C.P. Eubanks, and we are the Wesley Bell Ringers from Christ United Methodist Church in Salt Lake City, Utah. Thank you so much for welcoming us into your church and your community this evening. We are so happy to be here with you for our third concert of our 60th annual summer tour. Our organization was founded 63 years ago by a gentleman named Ed Duncan, and we've been in continuous operation since then, playing around Salt Lake and the surrounding towns in Utah every Christmas season, as well as after 3 years starting a summer tour every year, including during 2020 where we went on what is called the D-Tour, where they went around Utah to play some concerts outside at different churches who have hosted us at Christmas. We're very lucky to be out touring the country again, coming to churches like yours, and it is so nice to be welcomed everywhere that we go. Throughout the program, I'll be doing several talking points on the history of our organization, what it goes into being a Wesley Bell Ringer, everything goes on besides our practice. Talking a bit about our instruments. I know you have a handbell program here, but over 63 years, we've accumulated a few toys and some other instruments that a lot of bell choirs aren't familiar with. As well as later on, I will be doing a short question and answer period. If you have any questions about the ringers, our music, the instruments you see, keep them in mind, and we will get to them later. These next two pieces in your program are selections from our Christmas program that we play in Salt Lake. We always like to bring one or two along because none of you were able to be there with us to celebrate during December, and we like to bring some of the music with us so that you can hear it now. But with that, let's get to some more music, and we hope that you enjoy the concert. Thank you. Sorry, that one takes the breath out of me. I move around a lot up here while I'm directing. As I mentioned, our choir was founded in 1963 by a gentleman named Ed Duncan, who at the time was a youth leader at Christ United Methodist Church. And he felt like the youth there didn't have enough things to do in their lives. So he gathered together a group of 9 young adults, and they made and sold hoagie sandwiches to members of the church and the community in order to afford our first set of Schomrick handbells. Since then, we've added quite a lot of bells and quite a lot of ringers, and this summer, we welcomed in our 528th ringer to the Wesley Bell Ringers. The choir is open to anyone between the ages of freshman year of high school and, as we call it, their super senior year, which is their freshman year of college, or in some cases, super senior year in this year when we need an extra ringer or two to fill in some spots. We're a non-audition group. You don't have to have played any music previously. We will teach you how to ring handbells. We'll teach you how to read music over the years. This summer, we had three new ringers join us in January who had to catch up on that previous song you heard as well as the one next up in our program, as well as learn a whole concert without ever having touched a bell before. It always blows me away how well they pick it up and how great of a teacher the fellow ringers are for them. Outside of rehearsal, we also do a lot of fundraising to be able to go on tour. All of this is to say it's not possible just by myself. I am so lucky to have wonderful parent volunteers, some of whom are crazy enough to come on the road for 2 weeks with us while we tour around the country. And I am incredibly blessed to have a wonderful assistant director, Molly Chittister, who will be directing the next few pieces in the program for you. If you would please welcome her forward.
Thank you. Hi there, my name is Molly Chittister, and I'm the Assistant Director of the Wesley Bell Ringers. I actually was a ringer here in 2018 when we played here on our Midwest tour then, so I'm really happy to be back. Thank you for having us again. As CP mentioned briefly, the ringers earn every penny that allows us to go on tour, from getting our bus chartered, hotel rooms, activities, anything, essentially, you name it. So anyone and everyone can go on tour if they're willing to put in the work to earn the money to do so. He briefly mentioned, I think, the selling of hoagies to the congregation in the early days of the choir. We kind of had to switch that up as the congregation members got really, really sick of hoagies. So we do a few bingo nights that the Ringers hosts. We do a Valentine's dinner dance, so they serve dinner, dance a little bit too. They do get to have fun. There's a silent auction involved with that. And our biggest fundraisers throughout the year is the surrounding community members and congregation members will donate their unwanted items, furniture, kitchen things, anything essentially that you could name gets donated to Rummage. We store it in our church basement. We get really good at Tetris and packing things really tall and high and as packed full as we possibly can. And then twice a year, we haul it all upstairs and we sell it, usually back to the people who donated it to us in the first place. So that brings in a good amount of money for us as well. This whole spiel is leading up to the fact that we also take a free will offering at all of our concerts. Emphasis on free will. We're focused up here. We're not going to be watching you. So if you feel so inclined to support us in our music ministry, we'd be really grateful. If giving digitally is easier for you as well, there is a QR code in your program. Again, we'd really appreciate the generosity. This next piece is called Allegro con moto, and we hope you enjoy.
over the years, there have been a lot of traditions that have developed within the choir. One of those is what we call the senior piece. So every year when we get ready to go on tour, we ask the ringers who are in their 4th or 5th years in the choir, seniors in high school or freshmen in college, to pick a piece that they would like to play just then. They either find an arrangement of the piece, arrange it themselves, or find someone else to arrange it, usually the director. They plan their own rehearsal times. They ask myself or Molly to come and help. And it's a way for them to show off everything they've learned in their years in the choir. Sometimes they'll pick a piece that is written for more ringers than what they have up there, and they'll adapt to the piece. So you've seen quite a few ringers up at the top having 2 bells in their hands, 4 in hand. Now you'll see some of the ringers in the lower spots doing it, as well as you'll see ringers have a mix of bells, where they'll have like 1 high bell and then 4 low bells, or 4 high bells and 1 low bell, because they need to help spread the bells out through everyone. And this year, the ringers decided on the piece My Way, as performed by Frank Sinatra. right, well, I'll take a second to tell you about the instruments you've seen and heard this evening. The main instrument you've heard is a 6-octave set of Malmark handbells. The largest bell we have is the G2 that looks and sounds like this. And it only weighs 20 pounds at the beginning of the concert. The smallest bell that we have with us is an A8 that looks and sounds like this, and it never weighs anything. We also have a 6-octave set of Malmark choir chimes. These are the square tube bells that you've seen. The largest, again, is the G2 that sounds like this. They're very similar in design to a tuning fork. I think you have a set of Malmark choir chimes here at the church, and they have that very beautiful, more mellow sound that we'll use in our quieter, slower pieces. We also have a 2-octave set of Schomrich silver melody bells. These are a silver, shiny tubular bell, and they sound like this. They have a very bright and crisp sound that can really bring a melody line out in some of our faster songs. And then we have a 2-octave set of Whitechapel cup bells that sound like this. They have a very nice, almost ethereal sound that we'll use in some of our slower pieces. On your right, at the very back, we have our percussion station with George and Marisha, who've been back there tonight. On their right, they have a set of orchestra chimes. They have a glockenspiel, wind chimes. On George's left is a set of Pettit and Fritzen handbells. These were bells that were manufactured in Holland, and they were handbells at one point, but they stopped making them. And as we ran out of parts, rather than lose those bells and their sound, we decided to hang them from a carillon, and they sound like this. In front of George is an instrument that we believe is unique to the Wesley Bell Ringers that we call the boomagong, and it sounds like this. A very deep bass sound. Now it goes a half octave lower than our lowest bell, but it was made by a gentleman who heard the choir play back before they manufactured the large bass bells in our back row, who thought the choir needed that bass sound. So he got together with Ed Duncan, the founder, and we got a boomagong out of it. I'll also take some time to answer any questions anyone might have. I know you're familiar with handbells here, so there might not be many, but if anyone has any questions, right here.
Practice 4 hours a week.
Yep.
2 days?
2 days, yes. So our practice schedule is we practice for 2 hours on Sunday evenings and 2 hours on Tuesday evenings. We also do what we call a rehearsal retreat twice a year, where we'll pack all the bells up in our trailer, and we'll drive about an hour outside of Salt Lake City to a Methodist camp where we set everything up. And we practice for about 11 to 12 hours over the course of a weekend, and we do that once in the fall and once in the spring before our Christmas season and our tour season, just to put the final polishing touches on a lot of pieces, or learn any last-minute pieces if Molly and I haven't picked them all out by then. But yeah, any other questions? Right here. How many bells from the Wesleys? Yeah. Everyone who's in the choir comes on tour with us. We have never kept someone at home from tour. When I was in the choir, we had 37 ringers who went on the road. So back at home, we have about double the number of bells that you see. So when that happens, if we get more ringers, these 2 rows would become 1, and then we'd have it all doubled on a second row. We'd have an extra couple tables and bass. So we've never turned anyone away who wants to play bells. We've always just bought more bells and made more tables for them. Like I said, I'm very happy that the choir's non-auditioned. We're open to anyone as long as they're willing to put in those 4 hours for rehearsal and all the hours for fundraising that go into being a member of the choir. Yeah, right here. Okay, so the reason we switch around a lot, I'll start with that, is I was warned that a bored teenager is a dangerous thing. And so we move around to keep their brains active. Usually in your first year, you stay in one spot. Most of the time, if they haven't played in a younger bell choir, we have a youth bell choir at our church. If they haven't played in that or another one, they stay in one spot because it's hard to learn a new instrument, and even harder if you have to learn a lot of different spots in the instrument. But as they are in the choir for a year or two, they kind of know whether they want to play the tinks, as we call them up here, or the bass bells or percussion. So we'll start rotating them in on easier songs so that they can learn. I mean, the tiny bells up here take a lot more technique because you've got 2, 3 bells in your hands. You've got like 12 bells on the top table rather than 2 bells, 2 notes in front of you. The bass bells take technique and also muscle, so you've got to build that up a little bit. Percussion, you've got a lot of instruments, and usually they're writing their own parts for the songs because they're not written for the percussion section. But we also want them to have fun. It gets a little boring if you play the same bells for all 5 years that you're in the choir. So we ask them where they want to go, and we start helping them learn those spots. Yeah. I think there was one other here. I'll say also, I know there's 1 or 2 people up in the balcony. If you have a question, shout at me if I don't see you. Right here. Do we play for worship? Yes. We play 1 Sunday a month, usually, during the worship service, as well as we'll play for the Christmas Eve service. And then the Sunday before we leave on tour is always WBR Sunday, where we lead the whole service. So ringers are doing the scripture readings. I write and do the sermon myself. We play 5 or 6 pieces during that. We'll also play a couple other services, like if they need someone for Good Friday, sometimes we'll step in. We've played weddings and funerals for members of the church, but we're very blessed to have a big music program. We have an adult bell choir and a younger bell choir at our church, as well as a bluegrass band that plays worship songs. So our services are only needed once a month. Yeah. I got time for 1 or 2 more questions if we have them. Right here. Yeah, how large is our repertoire and how do we go about deciding what to play? This year, we have 9 songs for our concert. It changes every season. We only keep those 1 or 2 songs from our Christmas program. And then once we're back, the ringers do get some time off, but we'll start learning all new music in September for our Christmas season. We keep a record. We always try to play new things that the ringers haven't played before so that they're always learning something new. It's always a challenging them to learn something new. A lot of the times, Molly and I will pick pieces that we like, that we played when we were in the choir, as well as we each have some of our own favorite bell composers. We're really lucky nowadays that there's a plethora of handbell music available online. When the choir was founded, Ed Duncan, the founder, arranged most of the pieces himself. And we're also lucky to have a big library of hand-arranged pieces that we've scanned and documented, and we try to bring those pieces on tour when we can and play those as well, because it's a fun piece of history for us to have those. Got time for 1 more. We've commissioned a few. The last one was last year 2 years ago, for our 60th anniversary. We commissioned a piece for that, as well as I believe we commissioned one for our 50th anniversary, and some milestones there. It's usually the director at the time, their favorite composer. They'll reach out to them and say, it would be really cool if we could commission you for a piece. And then we get a really awesome piece out of it that we get to play. Yeah, we don't have any on tour this year that were commissioned by us, but there are some recordings online on our YouTube that you can find of those as well. If you have a question I didn't get to, or you come up with one during the next few pieces of the program, feel free to approach myself, Molly, any of the ringers. We love to talk about handbells, and we don't get many opportunities to do it outside of tour. If you want to see any of the instruments we have, the percussion station, please feel free to come up and try them out. If you're not one of the bell ringers here at the church, come up and try ringing a bell. It might hook you, and you might want to join, and there's people you could talk to tonight to join the bell choir here, I'm sure. But no, thank you all for being with us. This next piece in your program is a beautiful arrangement of Beach Spring. That brings us to our final piece of the evening. Again, I want to thank you all for being here with us this evening. A special thank you to Valerie and everyone who provided dinner and who will be providing breakfast in the morning. We couldn't go on a tour without wonderful people like you who are so willing to host us, to provide meals for us, and to welcome us into your church and your community. We do have quite a few stops left on our trip. If you know anyone who wasn't able to be here tonight that you think might enjoy it, I do believe it was being live streamed tonight, as well as a lot of the churches along the way will live stream it. If you know of anyone in one of the cities or nearby who you think might enjoy hearing the concert, please let them know that we're coming. Again, thank you all so much. It's been so wonderful playing here.